is just fantastic. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a tweet from Dan Can't Tweet that leads us down a minor rabbit hole concerning Anissa and Ian Jomha, Idubbbz and Idubbbz's master stroke handler. Dan had tweeted, so Idubbbz and Anissa are selling their house to pack up for Canada according to Kino Casino clips. They owe $720,000 on the house from what I can tell, and are trying to sell it for what they paid for, brackets, good luck. After realtor and selling fees, they might come away with $150k give or take. Also, it appears the Idubbbz owns the house 100% and Anissa doesn't have any ownership in it outside from the fact that they are married. Not gonna lie, over the years with the millions of views that Ian had gotten from his content, I had believed he would own his house outright. It is not my place to judge his monetary responsibility or fiscal responsibility, I believe is the term, nor what he does, but I am going to judge a little the potential consequence. Now, I should state, I don't really want to be using Kino Casino for clips at all. I really don't. However, we are going to use a relevant clip of Sweaty Betty and Junkie, yes, that's what you both are, don't try me, to hear what they have to say on the matter. I did take the liberty of looking at Idubbbz's Twitter, which has not been active since June the 26th, a simple retweet of Onion Person, and Anissa has now protected her Twitter account. If you click the link to the website, AnissaJomha.com, don't bother. You have to approve something on your browser for DDoSing, and don't. Okay? Just don't. It looks sus. Don't. There is a parody account that exists of Anissa because for 35 days she hadn't removed the pinned tweet going in on people that helped with Creator Clash 2, training Ian. Yeah, it took 35 days for Anissa to see sense on it. Pride is quite the powerful demotivator, isn't it now? I honestly believed that Anissa would go further down the path of promoting only Fupa Fibro failed adult film actor. Bit like what Denims is doing right now, using legal text, the actual legal text from the Ethan Klein lawsuit to promote OF on her Twitter, or to imply such promotion with thirst posting. But it turns out Anissa doesn't have that kind of pull. She's far too prideful for that. And $150,000 is a lot of money to someone like me, but to leave where they're living, to then potentially only receive allegedly that amount of money and go to Canada, when I know that house prices and land prices aren't exactly cheap over there, would imply they're seeking to settle. You also know that that doesn't go very far because the average house price in Canada for 2025 is $668,000 Canadian dollars, or £387,000, whereas the average price for a house in the UK is £100,000 less. Just thought I'd share that. So with this nugget of information, we're now going to go to the Kino Casino Twitter, and we're going to go to the most recent tweet, July the 7th, from a 10-minute segment tweeted, all in caps, to drive up the interest, talking about Idubbbz being forced to sell the house and Creator Clash being dead. Fingers crossed we find the relevant part, because I'm not entirely sure how much I can tolerate watching Junkie and the rather large Sweaty Betty with the Betty Swallocks shouting, screaming and laughing about I don't know what.
Christmas!
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of many reasons I don't watch, but I do know from Cog and others that these guys stream for a long time. There's a level of energy as well. They stream on platforms that have U-botting, so the numbers aren't quite what they seem. Obviously, I don't want to judge Kino Casino too harshly because that's not my topic, yeah? Although I do want to highlight that it seems relevant to point it out at the very least. That to get by, they have to stream for X number of hours because they don't get enough otherwise.
We called it! We called
Creator
it!
Clash is dead!
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 Cancelled!
Cancelled! Dead forever! Gone forever!
I know that many of us have called it. Maybe it's my Englishness shining through here. I'm not entirely sure what there is to be so joyful about. Yeah? Do you want to start chanting jocularity? Is that what we're shooting for here? Because undoubtedly many wanted there to be some level of success so charities actually got paid for a change. But since we then later found out that Anissa and Ian were taking a percentage, that amount of support did go down significantly.
And now Idubbbz has been forced to flee the country. He's been forced to sell his house. It's up for sale. People have been around. The house is completely f***ing empty.
I don't suppose we're going to get proof of this from you guys, is there? I don't want to go through an 8-hour, 10-hour, 20-hour, however long you stream for show to find any proof if you provide it. But do hope that within the 10-minute clip you shared to Twitter, there is something here to back this up. If true, of course, I feel slightly sorry for them, because I'll always feel sorry for people who screw up their own lives. There are many creators over the past 5 years that have done that. More recently, I think BoBlacks might have fallen within this, because of the lyrics situation, undoing so much. Whether you support or not, I'm just stating it as it is. Tipster as well, Mundane Matt, hell, even Andy Warski. Do you still live with your dad? Because you threw everything away as well at one point, if memory serves. That IRL livestreaming really did undo you. I guess, to an extent, if this is true, it seems strange for someone like Andy Warski to laugh at it, considering what Andy has had to do since, well, his own downfall.
Under cover of darkness, he removed all of his furniture, all of his belongings. He's in Anissa's mother's basement in Canada.
Confirmed.
And he's chairless! He's chairless! They actually had to sell off all the furniture on Facebook Marketplace. They don't even have a chair to sit in or a pot to piss in, folks. Even Ralph, the milk-fed gimp that he is, has a chair!
Because I'm not as Facebook foo savvy as others are, I couldn't find any definitive proof of what is being stated, but that's not to say it didn't happen or isn't happening. I do feel slightly bad for Ian and Anissa if this is true, because they have written a check with their mouths and their actions, and it has bitten them on the backside so much that they have lost so much. So what is your pride really worth? The sum of that value derives entirely from what you are willing to give up for the sake of your, what you dub integrity, the rest of us call stupidity. Because it's not integrity that has put them in this position, it is arrogance. It is why so many careers of late have gone down the drain. People who have made a career out of being a YouTuber, because you can't admit when you're on the wrong side of history, which is fine by the way. It 100% is fine, because your career is not mine, and I'm quite proud of what I have, and will continue to try and be better all the time. Hence the lazy avatar image, because I'm so much better. Yeah, no, we're working on it, okay? It's a depression thing. Let's go with that.
Idubbbz is so bro, he's trapped in the basement of horror.
The image of the basement you tweeted?
From hell. Bro, how it started, how it's going. We're in the basement. By the way, Mr. Jomha, tear down that paywall. We have the bog in all its glory. Them sitting on the floor of the basement in just utter abject poverty and misery.
It's over.
Well, this is all rather entertaining, isn't it now? I personally will not indulge in the cheering of other people's misery, even if it is self-inflicted. But I do want to highlight that obviously we've not been given by these guys anything that is proof yet. If it's within a 10-hour live stream, I'm not looking for it. They stream exclusively on alternative platforms, and I'm not as much of a frequenter, and I certainly don't have time to watch 10 hours or 8 to 10 hours to get to the part that matters the most. Although, I can understand and empathise with those who are celebrating if this is in fact true, because Anissa and Ian Jomha have done a marvellous job of aggravating, insulting, poisoning many friendships and relationships for the sake of a political stance. Whether that is Anissa's fault like many believe, or Idubbbz being that desperate for pussy, I don't know. But I know a lot of people who are cheering this have that position, and they lay the blame firmly, firstly, at the wife, who is basically the master. The sub, being Ian, he kind of gets blame as well, but not in the same way. No. But I firmly believe they're both responsible for these poor decisions. If they are leaving to go to Canada, I would recommend it anyway, because as your careers start to go down, which all careers eventually do, you need to recalibrate. You need to work out what your priorities are. A fresh start is quite common with marriages. If they're perhaps considering settling down and having something in the future like children, I'd recommend laying off whatever it is you're taking to make life easier. because you're sure as hell not doing enough to make your life easier work-wise. But I can believe Idubbbz will end up getting a different job away from all of this. Not as a video editor though. If anyone remembers the Content Cop edits, they weren't that great.
Next week, where Anissa is starting her Twitch
She's
streams
returning to
back up.
streaming. They're so poor. They're so desperate that Anissa is now going to have to become the primary breadwinner and stream.
Because I don't know what Idubbbz does between non-existent videos, I'm curious why Idubbbz isn't streaming. Even with the platform diminishing that it may be, it would make sense to be as proactive as possible, especially if your income flow has taken a knock, which in the case of Idubbbz, it has been consistently going down for a while. I had always wondered if Idubbbz did something else on the side anyway. I firmly believe all people should have a job away from the internet. It's a good way to ensure a regular source of income and feet placed firmly within reality. However, I could also believe Idubbbz does absolutely nothing. And we had discussed earlier in the week Anissa perhaps starting the streaming journey. If Anissa does, I can't see it going too well or lasting too long anyway, because people are going to be moderated to high hell. There will of course be supporters, but no offense to Anissa, you are not the Orbiters. I don't think you have that level of pull, but you'll still make some money off it at least. Hell, you can use it to promote your only Fupa Fibro failed adult film actor account. Because
any income that Idubbbz earns from this point forward, not only does he have to pay Canadian taxes now, which are brutal, but as a U.S. citizen, no matter where you move in the world, you still have to pay U.S. taxes.
Really? I didn't even. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I knew about this because of Foodie Beauty, aka Chantal, who went to Kuwait for 2.5 years on off, constantly doing tourist visa hops, and she had to pay taxes regardless. I know it affects us in the UK as well, but I also know depending on your status, your residency status will depend on how much tax you pay to the US, because don't forget here with AdSense, if you know this anyway, if your country has a treaty with the other country, you will only pay that one set of tax for the country you are residing within, not both. It depends on what status, visa-wise, that Idubbbz has, but it is still speculation on that front. Although more people are coming out, those involved in Creator Clash 3 who've been put out financially, Dad being a great example of it, harmed incredibly because of this nonsense, and others that were involved who know Anissa and Ian a bit more intimately, not because of pegging, just to be clear, but I'm sure given time, Idubbbz will become another statistic in that front, for the cuckoldry anyway. No doubt he'll start selling alpha supplements, as an alpha male that he is. No, but more people are coming out and telling us more about their life, which is where a lot of what Kino Casino are running with comes from. Segments here and there, interviews with Lolcow Live, and various tweets that, well, I would have noticed, but mine's mostly filled with betrayal and me muting repeated spammers of old dead video memes.
And so Anissa now has to make all the money for the household. It's not gonna last.
And we'll be watching.
Over under how many streams? I don't think she's gonna make it past 3 days as a live streamer on the daily.
I pray she does.
Mental illness kicks in. It's gonna be awesome.
In truth, I can't imagine Anissa will last too long either, but that's because I think unless the majority of people aren't paying attention to Anissa, which is also likely, people are going to go there. The rules that are going to be for the chat are going to be ignored, people are going to be banned left, right and centre, and people are just going to give up. You have to be, for someone who announces their live stream debut, as it were, you have to be quite good, consistently good. You will go through a slump because people will be interested, they'll lose interest, and you have to build your own audience. Whether Anissa can do that, I don't know. I'm not convinced because the past and the present aren't really on her side. But if opportunities are thin, slim, and you have to do something, then you've got no choice. You become a slave for views. Now, Idubbbz has never been that before, so it'll be very interesting to see whether or not he's willing to commit to the bit as a creator and go back to doing what he was good at, or whether he's going to, as I earlier mentioned with Pride, refuse to change, see the error of ways, and make right. Don't forget here, you used Hassan and the Orbiters to make your content. They're not here for you right now. They don't care about you because they got to use you to take a shot at Ethan. That's all. And you, in a deputy follow-up, justified the skulls, justified CPS. You justified all the bad things, so no one feels sympathy for you, Idubbbz, Ian, Jomha, the cuckold anymore. They don't feel it, and they have no reason to feel it. Ethan doesn't have to care, but I'm sure if you actually bothered to shelve your ego and say sorry, he might actually accept it. Not forgive you, accept it. But you need to make some changes on that front. And this lawsuit with Ethan ties into you guys as well. Because if they get done for defamation, if all three of them are made to settle or they are found guilty, if Ethan wins in any way, you guys are going to look even weaker while his relevancy soars. You made a choice with the video you made, undoubtedly influenced by your wife's hatred for Ethan Klein. It had to be, because you used Ethan in your Rice Gum diss track. Ethan has featured heavily in your content over the years because you two were bros. And like any cliche friend who can't maintain friendships, you ditched him at the first sign of pussy, which is embarrassing really. Whether you sold your house or not, I obviously don't wish you any ill on that front, but if you're not getting much money out of it, if it is in fact true, it's a bit embarrassing. And with the 10-minute clip that I had downloaded off the Clips Twitter account for Kino Casino, that was the last bit that they included on that subject before promoting all the other subjects as if it was all sensational stuff. None of it was, just to be clear. They, much like others, like to reference JF, Garape, yes, Review Tech, and I believe Ethan Ralph stuff. The Ethan Ralph stuff, though, I'd rather listen to Cog on because I couldn't care less about the Kino Casino guys. Now, as we're finished, I'd love to know what you all think. Do let me know in the comments down below what you think about the changing fortunes, allegedly, for Idubbbz and Idubbbz's master, the wife. I shall be streaming on Twitch later, some American truck, not Planet Base, as Iowa the DLC has just been released for the game. Hope to see you there, and I'm doing a political stream on Rumble later. Not many people go there, and that's quite alright, but if you're interested in some political discussion recapping the past week, join us. I'll link my Rumble channel down below in the pinned comment. Hope to see you there. If not, see you on Saturday, maybe here on the main channel. If not for that as well, have a wonderful day, everyone. It's nice and warm after all for us, and thank you all so much for listening.